Being the second main character introduced to viewers of the KonoSuba series, Aqua is a natural fit to be the second Pop Up Parade pre-painted figure based on the said series to be unboxed and reviewed in my channel, 4-Eyed Monster Miniatures. KonoSuba began life as a web novel before being printed as a light novel series, then adapted as a manga novel and subsequently an anime series. In fact, KonoSuba is currently midway through an audiobook series adaptation. So KonoSuba seems to have achieved a level of popularity that sees its presence in a multitude of media and form, as is seen in this Pop-Up Parade pre-painted figure. Aqua is encased in an almost all-clear plastic packaging that's now synonymous with Goodsma Company Pop-Up Parade line of pre-painted figures. Specifically, they are standard size versions that range from 17 to 18 centimeters in height, as is the case for the figurine of Aqua that you see here. Continuing with the artistic concept as seen in the pre-painted figure of Sato Kazuma, Max Factory, the actual figure designer and producer for Goodsma Company's KonoSuba Pop Up Parade figure lineup, has designed Aqua to be attired in her iconic blue dress that she is first seen in, and one that's readily recognizable on her character. The clear plastic packaging lets us see this reasonably well, albeit with slight visual distortions due to the protective plastic blisters somewhat distorting the view. The back and bottom of the box are the only sides that are not see-through, with the latter containing miscellaneous requisite product info about the figure. Anyway, let's get to unwrapping Aqua from this clear plastic pop-up parade packaging. As per usual, this part of the video will not contain any commentary. It will have the ASMR-like sounds of the unwrapping process itself, plus some light background music. Commentary will resume when I take a close-up look at Aqua. If you would like to skip ahead to that part, please use the timestamps I provided in the description below. Most pop-up parade figures, though not necessarily all, come fully complete. Although for Aqua, as you saw earlier, we had to attach her head onto the body first. She comes clad in her most iconic attire, comprising a sleeveless dark blue vest with white trimmings and detached white sleeve with dark blue trimmings. Her waist-long light blue hair is partially tied into a loop with a spherical glossy dark blue clip with a yellow hairpin. The hair itself has fairly good sculpted details, albeit with a monotone hue. Other lovely details on Aqua's attire include a green bow with a blue gem on her chest, and a white hexagonal star-shaped collar with dark blue trimmings that end with a blue and black neck choker. She also has on a short dark blue miniskirt with a translucent purple underskirt and wears a thigh-high blue-heeled boots with yellow trimmings near the knee over white stockings with blue trimmings. While Aqua's clothing and hair has a flat application of paint color, her fair skin tone did fortunately get some light pinkish red shading on the shadowed areas. Overall, the pre-painted figure has a predominantly blue color scheme with dashes of complementary orange as well as a smattering of a purple and yellow complementary hue combo. From this initial once-over, I feel that the facial details are good with clean paintwork, and more importantly, the figure's face closely resembles that of the KonoSuba character. Continuing with the blue color scheme, Pop Up Parade went with a clear medium blue for the hexagonal base. This choice of color also ties in with the overarching theme of bright colorful bases for the Pop Up Parade line of KonoSuba pre-painted figures. We'll slip into our ASMR mode now as I try to attach Aqua onto her base. You can skip ahead to the full 360-degree view where commentary resumes using the timestamps as I've mentioned in the descriptions below. In line with the Pop Up Parade standard size pre-painted figure lineup, Aqua stands at around 18 cm when measured from the bottom of her feet to the top of her head, and around 19 cm when measured to the top of her loop of hair that's sticking up due to the hair clip and pin. In terms of color scheme, Aqua, in keeping with her name and her persona as the goddess of water, has predominantly blue hues of differing shades, with complementary light orange hues on the detached sleeves and thigh-high boots trimmings. There are also some other complementary color pairings at work, for example the yellow trimmings on her skirt versus the translucent purple underskirt. The only other color on this figure is the mint greens of the large ribbon bow on her chest. Overall, colors are flat in nature with the exception of her skin tone, which were given a faint pinkish red shading. As for her pose, Aqua at the very least does not look static, considering her arms are flailing outwards from her body and her back is arcing backwards, as well as the fact that her skirt and hair seems to be flaring away from her center of gravity. Yet, the positioning of her legs seems, in my eyes at least, to give Aqua an awkward-looking posture, as if she is somewhat off balance. On the flip side, the pose does jive with her klutzy personality, so you can still view it as a positive. Notwithstanding the excellent details and clean paintwork on Aqua's Goddess of Water attire, which I touched upon in the earlier once-over section of this video review, another feature that's critical to a pre-painted figure being received favorably is the likeness factor of the figurine's face to its anime character. In that regard, Max Factory did a great job for Pop Up Parade, seeing that this Aqua figurine has equally excellent facial details that look the part. Large anime eyes with gradated blue hues, light blue eyebrows and thick black eyelashes, both of which are painted in, pinkish red blushes on both fair-skinned cheeks, as well as an open mouth that shows the pinkish red tongue and a hint of upper teeth. All these combine to make this Pop-Up Parade figure look like, well, Aqua. Her hair, while reasonably well sculpted for a mid-tier figure, in that it clearly resembles the anime character's hairstyle, is perhaps let down by the flat application of the light blue hues. By taking up a large percentage of the figure's surface area or real estate, the hair looks bland due to its lack of shading and highlights. And since we are discussing the less than positive aspects of the Pop Up Parade pre-painted figure of Aqua, I also kind of wish Mac Factory had placed meaningful accessories on her hands. along the lines of what they did for the Sato Kazuma figurine, which, if you recall, had a black pantsuit in his hands. In Aqua's case, this would be a pair of Chinese fans squirting water, as she is also known as the goddess of party tricks. Now that would have increased the wow factor of the pre-painted figure of Aqua. Most budget to mid-tier pre-painted figures tend to treat the figurine's lower half as an afterthought. And while this pop-up parade version of Aqua doesn't necessarily buck this trend by a whole great deal, I do like how Max Factory at least made an effort to accurately mimic the character as she's seen in the anime, by molding her underskirt using translucent plastic to recreate the lace-like underskirt that Aqua wears in the show. That, together with the color-accurate miniskirt and thigh-high heel boots, means her lower half stay true to the character look of Aqua that's first introduced to viewers of the KonoSuba anime. Her clear medium blue hexagonal base provides enough of a color contrast to prevent the thigh-high dark blue heel boots from blending into the base. And as mentioned earlier, the medium blue base is in line with the theme of brightly colored bases for KonoSuba character figurines in the Pop Up Parade lineup. For fans of the KonoSuba fantasy comedy, this Pop Up Parade figure of Aqua definitely ticks many boxes of what they would want in a pre-painted figure depicting a beloved character from the anime series. Max Factory had done an excellent job designing and producing a figure that is instantly recognizable as Aqua, the healer in the infamous quartet of adventurers in the fantasy world of KonoSuba. What this means, figure-wise, is that they had nailed the likeness factor not only with regard to her facial details, but also her iconic attire in terms of both sculpt quality and color scheme. Yet there's a certain blandness to this pop-up parade version of Aqua that's a bane of most figures in the still affordable mid-tier category of pre-painted figures. For example, part of this so-called blandness arises out of the flat paintwork that lacks any shading or highlights, save for her skin tone, which does have shadings to some shadowed areas. Now, the paintwork is incredibly clean, for which I've come to expect from pop-up parade figures, but sadly, so too is their flat color scheme for most figures I've seen from this Good Smile Company product lineup so far. Another characteristic that lends itself to the blandness feel of this particular version of Aqua is her lack of accessories. It would have been perfect if Max Factory had added a pair of Chinese fans for her to hold in both hands, as Aqua is usually seen with when engaging in her hilarious party trick skill. However, it's likely this wasn't done due to cost considerations inherent in a mid-tier pre-painted figure. Moreover, without the Chinese fans' accessories, Aqua's pose looks a bit awkward in an off-balance kind of way. Considering what this pop-up parade figure of Aqua from the fantasy comedy KonoSuba does exceedingly well, for example, a great likeness factor coupled with a clean paintwork and good sculpt quality, versus what it could have done better, for example, adding accessories and some color gradation on its bland paintwork, I'm giving this pop-up parade figure of Aqua a rating of Platinum or B rank. This rating is consistent with a not overly expensive mid-tier pre-painted figure that solidly represents a character from an anime franchise, albeit without bells and whistles like a gradated color scheme or figure accessories. If you're on a limited budget and you would like a figure from the KonoSuba series in your collection without breaking the bank, you can't go wrong with the pop-up parade version of Aqua. I for one am extremely happy to have her in my collection despite the shortcomings of the figure. And while some would include her simplistic hexagonal clear blue base as a shortcoming of the figure, I think of it more in neutral terms, and if future pop-up parade figures continue to use brightly clear color bases like Aqua and Sato Kazuma, it could very well end up looking rather good stylistically when all the KonoSuba figurines in this pop-up parade lineup are displayed together. Anyway, we have reached the end of this unboxing and review video. I sincerely hope you have found the video informative and helpful as you, dear viewer, go about adding to your own pre-painted figure collection. Thank you so very much as always for spending time with me as I review the figure. Stay safe, be well, and be happy.